Hey everybody, welcome to Workforce Gaming. I'm Brad, here with Doug.
Hey.
Marvel Snap is a new deck building card game with Marvel licensed characters in it. And it is the most addicting thing I've found in years.
It is pretty. I don't even like Marvel, and I am deep into this.
Yeah. I feel like it's kind of been out for a while, but I don't know if it just went to 1.0. There was a beta.
It was in beta it was like in like a closed beta for a really long time. So like people have been talking about it, and then it just released to the public as like the 1.0 version recently.
Yeah. So we are not really big mobile people. I think this is like our third mobile video ever, but this game like it's like all I want to play. I bought Bayonetta 3 and I literally like sat there like starting Bayonetta 3 like but Marvel Snap.
Actually, you know, it's funny. I guess that reminded me. It's like, boy, it's like this feels really familiar. I haven't been this addicted. Oh, Slay the Spire. It has that very sort of snappy, quick. It was really funny. I was kind of curious about because you were telling me about it. I was like, okay, I mean that sounds kind of neat. And then I think I was listening to a podcast or something, and they said the matches are 3 minutes long, and I was like, oh. That made me about a million times more interested. If you tell me any card game has a match that's 3 minutes long, I'm going to be way more interested.
And that's the thing is it has that very, very addictive quality of like trials of that just one more. And that one more feels like nothing because you can get to it probably 2 to 5 minutes, I would say is the range.
Yeah.
You can really quickly get through one in 2 minutes. And I mean, a longer one where like clearly the other person is like pretending it's a chess match and thinking through every move way too hard could push you to 5 because there are times on the turn. So you get 6 turns. You basically have a deck of, I think it's 12 cards. I don't know how many in your deck.
Oh shoot! I was like, it's 10. As soon as he said 10, I was like, oh, it's 10. He says 12. I was like, it could be 12. It's 10 or 12. Doesn't matter.
12 makes more sense. But anyway, you get 6 turns. Every turn you start with 3. Every turn you draw a new card. Turn 1 you get 1 power. Turn 2 you get 2 power. Turn 3 you get 3 power. The more powerful cards have higher power. So you get to like turn 6, the final turn, and you can lay down 1 super powerful card or a bunch of lower ones. So there's a little bit of strategy there, but just the basics of it are there's 3 spots. You're trying to get more power in each spot than each one. There's buffs, there's debuffs, there's ongoing effects, there's things that just kind of randomly happen that pop things all over. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on for a deck building game. And I think if you've played these like tabletop, a lot of times some of that gets mitigated just because it's so hard to like fly these cards all over the place. Like, oh, you place this card down and that turns into 3 cards. And you place this is just because it's snappy. Like everything is snappy. Boom, cards down next turn. Boom, cards down next turn. And it just moves. The pace is so good.
It is funny because I feel like this could work as a normal card game, but the thing that I'm finding out, it wasn't. There's another game I played. I think it may have just been Slay the Spire, where it's like this could also work. It's like a card game.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that's nice about digital card games is that it does all the adding and subtracting for you. Like you're not like sitting there like shuffling decks, and it's like it auto shuffles for you. If your character loses, like your characters have, like you said, you have an energy point to summon them. It costs X amount of energy to summon them, and they have so many power points. It'll do the math for you like immediately. So it'll show like this card costs 3 energy and has 3 power, and it's like, oh well, I have a character that reduces everybody's power, and it'll immediately show the reduction on the card, and that takes like a split second of a really neat animation that makes it very clear of exactly what's going on. But yeah, I really like the idea of like you're trying to control 3 different spaces. And the thing that I thought was really interesting is that the turns aren't my turn, your turn. We flip over the cards at the same time. Yeah. So we're each trying to get these 3 bases. We have those 6 turns. We're flipping over at the same time. And I think it's interesting because I think it's just these different layerings of these different sort of strategies. Like first you have these 3 bases you need to think about, but then each of those 3 bases have this weird random effect that if you put a card on here, maybe it'll multiply that card. Maybe it'll let you put a copy. Maybe it'll teleport that card somewhere else. So you got to think about these 3 bases, the 3 weird different things they're doing, your hand, their hand, and then there's also like this like snap mechanic, all this other stuff. But it's just interesting, like all these like little mechanics you're playing with, and then you're doing all of this math and these different thoughts in your head. So every game's totally different, and it's still only 3 minutes. It's really, really crazy.
And the amount of like calculations and strategizing and all this stuff that you're doing in a 3-minute game with 6, you do 6 things. You do
Yeah.
6 turns in 3 minutes, and I think I put more thought into this than 90% of the video games I've played in those 3 minutes, because it's just so constantly evolving. Because as you play, I think we both, I mean, I don't know about you, but I probably put a good 10, 15 hours into this thing over the
I haven't
week.
put that much in, but I've put
it's
a
literally like
number
at
of
least
hours in.
it's at least an hour before bed every night since like
Yeah.
for about 8 or 9 days straight. But anyway, in addition to random 2 minutes here and there, but it's, you can see strategies evolving. So you can see, as somebody lays one, you go, oh, okay, they're probably going to try and play a lot of low levels, get a couple cards that buff these up. So then in your deck, you've got different things. So you've got a card that might take out a couple of those low level ones. You've got a card that might just cancel out all of the buffs in one area. So you got to start thinking about these things. Like, there's other times when we play a strategy where somebody's just trying to like play cards down, and you have cards that if you destroy them or essentially like discard them, then other cards get more points. So there's all these strategies to think about and how these things go, that the game like can take such a hard turn at any point.
Yeah.
Because of the way that somebody else is playing it, and you're laying things down, then all of a sudden, ooh, I got to be more defensive. Okay, I gotta protect this area. Ooh, I got to do this, and it's just, it moves so quickly through it that it's just it's addicting. And that's before, like you said, you even factor in those random effects that the locations have of, okay, but if I put it here, then I'm going to get an extra copy and I can play it again. Ooh, but if I put it here, it's going to cost 3 less, so then maybe I want to put one there. Boo. Well, this one will only let me play one card here, so I get one shot and that's it.
I think the thing that's kind of fun about the randomness, the game feels a little imbalanced, but in favor of fun.
Yes.
And the way that the game kind of mitigates this is that you could retreat from any time. So basically, you essentially don't take as big a loss if you decide to retreat. So if there's just some complete, I don't know, some tomfoolery that's going on that's like, oh, this guy is going to absolutely destroy me. You can even tell, like, you know, because it's really, I love how clear the game is of like what each card does. You can click on any card that's in play and read exactly what's going on. Everything is like very out in the open. So when it's on your 6th turn, you can sometimes tell that like, oh, I'm about to get completely destroyed. And
I mean, you can tell by the 4th or 5th sometimes.
Sure.
There's some games where you're like, 4th. There's some where I'm just like rubbing my hands together 4th turn, like, I got this. There's no, we're done. Don't even bother playing cards.
But I just like that sort of imbalance the game has in the randomness, and that, but then it also kind of gives you an out. I think the other thing I really liked about the game is I weirdly enjoy the crappy cell phone game-ness of like getting you to play more is really pretty damn clever and smart. I think just besides the card game being addictive, this is like pure
how it's built
cocaine.
Like, it's I just need a little more. It's so initially, now again, 10-15ish hours in, I'm not getting that nearly as much just because things cost more. There's it definitely scales up to the point where it's like, okay, like if you really want to keep flying, you're going to need to pay us some money. But again, I think important to say neither one of us has spent a dime on this. I think.
Not yet.
you mentioned it, that's why I wanted to pause there. But that initial rush is, I feel like after every game I was unlocking like 3 things. Every game. I unlocked like 3 cards, more variants, more tokens, more of this. So there's like 4 different things to look at. There's daily missions, which pop. They're not daily. I think it's like every 12 hours. Because it's like I can only, there's like, and I think it resets in the afternoon, and like, not that I know this from lots of experience, like 11:30 or so
you're
at
deep
night.
into this shit.
It's sometime in the It's sometime when I'm at work, and sometime right around 11. Because there've been a couple of times where I'm like, it's like 10 minutes. There'll be a couple more daily missions. I'll just,
That's really
I can play
funny.
a couple more rounds. Not that I'm addicted to this or anything, but so there's daily missions. Those again just give you credits to spend to upgrade your cards. You get each card gets its own specific booster set, which you need. So you need credits and boosters to upgrade each card. So these are coming when you finish a game. One random card you played gets X number of boosters. I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but it gets so many if you win and so many if you lose. So you're getting those. So those numbers are just going up every time you play. But then you also have a collection level. So every time you upgrade a card, which is just basically make it look fancier.
I want to talk about that for a quick second. I think upgrading the cards is so freaking cool, because when I heard upgrading cards at first, I was like, oh, You're upgrading to make them more powerful. If you pay more money, then you're going to have a
Yeah.
more powerful card. That is not what upgrading your card does. It just
No.
makes it look cooler. That's all
Yeah.
it does.
And once you hit the top, so one of my cards I hit the top, I was like, okay, like this is like legend, because it goes, epic. Then it was like legendary, and then I think there was one other one, and then it like resets you down, and I got like this cool new backdrop for my character.
Oh, that's fun. I didn't know that.
Which I did not, and now it goes back down to like frame break, which is the first one where like they kind of like push out of the card a little bit.
Yeah.
And there is just that weird feeling, like especially initially when you're like, ooh, what's gonna happen next? But every time you do that, you get collection levels. So somewhere between 2 to eventually gets to like where I'm at, I think it's like 4 or 5 apart. You get either a new card or more credits, and that's how you get new cards. Is just you keep playing and upgrading these cards, and then a random one pops, and a random one pops, and a random one pops. So like, especially at the beginning,
can't buy. I don't think you can buy. I don't think you can buy cards individually. You can sort of with the battle pass, but all of the cards in the battle pass can also randomly show up when you're doing like your just normal game playing, like when you're going up the chain. So like I think, like so for example, like in the like they had Spider-Woman in the battle pass, but I had already gotten and I didn't buy the battle pass, but I got Spider-Woman as part of like a random draw.
Yeah, and so the season pass, you're also getting credit points for that after every one, and when you do these daily missions. So that unlocks a whole nother set of unlocks. So you've got your collection level unlocks, you've got your upgrade level unlocks, you got your season. So especially those first probably 5 to 8 hours, you're just unlocking something in one of these lines almost every game you play, and it's constant. Back to buying cards, you can buy variants.
That's so cool, and that's
but those will double down, so you can get like, I don't know if you can play 2 variants and I've never tried to play like a card and a variant because I only have 1 or 2 like in your deck at the same time.
No, you can't. No, you can only use a variant. Is literally just a different image on the card. So
no, I know, but like it doesn't in your collection. It doesn't replace it. So like I have 2 Hulks. I have Hulk and variant Hulk.
Yes.
I've just never tried to pop both into my deck at the same time.
You can't. Yes, you can only choose one card, which is actually really neat. You can only have one of each card. So how it kind of plays the monetization game is you get cool variants. So like your Captain America may just look like a normal Captain America, but then you get this like kind of neat cartoony Captain America, this neat 8-bit Captain America pixel art. So it feels at least like it's all basically cosmetic stuff that you're paying more for, or maybe to level up earlier. But
you can buy all the credits.
Yeah, but if you level up earlier, you're just going to get set into like a higher ranking of people. So it's like you need to probably learn the game, maybe slow down a bit, learn how to, before you just get shot up in those high rankings. Yeah. The ranking system's really cool too, because they rank you with people who would have similar cards. So
at the same, because it's based on collection level, not on your win-loss record. It's you have this many cards, you're in this general area of having cards, so we're going to put you with those ones. So you can feel it when you jump a group, because I just did this morning. And all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, and when you jump that group, it actually opens the availability of more cards. So like as I'm playing this afternoon, all of a sudden out of nowhere, I was like, because when a card pops in a game that you haven't seen before, it'll make a big deal of it. Like, you've never seen this one before. Here's what it does. And all of a sudden, like 5 games in a row, I was like, new card, new card, new card. I was like, what the hell? Cool. And it was just like, because I hit this point where now I'm in the next level, upper level. I don't know where the levels are, but I'm in this next level. Now all of a sudden, okay, here are cards, and these are doing drastically different things, because most of them ended up being Black Panther cards, and they were, or Black Panther universe characters, and they were all doing things like +1 to your whole deck, -1 to your opponent's whole hand, and there was way new buffs and debuffs that I hadn't seen before. So even going through the levels, all of a sudden here I am 10-15 hours in, and the gameplay has changed again. And it never gets this like stale point, because I feel like there's always some new strategy I'm seeing, some new cards I'm seeing, some new locations I'm seeing. I texted you I think this morning, I was like, I just played a location with something I've never seen before. This is a location I never played before, and I've played probably at least 100 matches at this time, if not substantially more than that.
Yeah, no, it is cool, and like every individual match just feels totally different because all the like weird randomization that's going on. I really, really enjoyed it. I think I'm starting to hit the point, though, and this happens with like a few competitive games where you're just kind of like casually playing, this is fun, win some, lose some. But then like you get to the point where everybody's about as good as you are, and then it's just like, all right, gotta think a little bit.
You hit that point of like, I can't just keep casually playing this for like 5 or 10
Yeah.
minutes a day. Like, if I'm gonna enjoy this, I gotta invest, or I just gotta stop.
Yeah. I
Think
realized
I'm
I
on, I
realized I
think
was
I'm
like
on the invest. I'm in the time investment side, I think.
yeah. Yeah, I realized it stopped playing more casual games, and on the sixth turn I was like, not like, oh, I'm gonna destroy this guy. I was like, I need to think about this last turn. Just more and more often, which is not a problem with the game, but that just kind of comes with like rank matching in general. That kind of
Yeah.
happened with me with Rocket League, where like I got really good at Rocket League, and I was like, that got to the point where everybody's very good at Rocket League. It's like, this is just a little intense. So I'm hoping I don't hit that point yet.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling it a little bit. I don't know if you're feeling it way more. You said kind of.
I feel like I need to think a lot more, and I feel like up until fairly recently, I've kind of been able to play fast and loose with strategies.
Yeah.
Whereas now I feel like, okay, I need to be a bit more specific about who's going where and how I'm adding things up, and I've kind of found that I lose a lot more now if I'm not like 100% in on it. Like if I'm trying to like
Sure.
watch some TV and just play it in the background or like something like that. It's like if I'm not all in, I'm losing now,
And that's the
which
thing.
is a good thing.
That is a good thing, but that's the thing that kind of freaks me out about like the psychology of the game, because we were kind of joking. It's like, oh, there's all these like things that really get you addicted to the game, and it does feel like it's drawing you further and further and further in as like the longer you get to play. Which is just, I think that's just how cell phone games work. But there is something a little grimy about it that's hard to put my finger on it, because everything is so slick, and it just like it all just works so well, and I'm getting all these rewards, and it's like, this is just hitting whatever absolute perfect. They got all the head researchers in how to get people to play these games.
That Disney money will do that for you.
Exactly. So it has a little bit of that griminess, I feel, but I am enjoying it.
I do feel like that griminess is mitigated by the fact, like you said, that there's no real pay to win. It feels like in this.
Yeah.
And even if even if there was, I feel like the game is balanced enough with the way that cards are and the like intrinsic randomization of a deck building game that it wouldn't feel like you're really doing much if you pay to win. But again, that not being there and that being focused purely on cosmetic stuff or like the monetization of it, I think is what initially I was kind of like hesitant. So I'm like, I'm just gonna play this for 10 minutes. Somebody's gonna have bought all the cards, and I die every time because I'm not gonna pay $40 for some stupid card game. And that's not here with this. And I think that's kind of the like selling point for me, is I feel like I can just naturally play this. I'm not being handicapped because I'm not willing to give them money.
Yeah.
I'm just have to look at not as cool cards, which whatever.
Yeah.
The other people have the cool ones and I still get to see them.
And occasionally you get a cool. Occasionally you do get a free variant. I like a cool variant too.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't really have much else to say on it. I do enjoy this game. I'm really curious, like, how we feel about this game in a year. Like, are we still talking about it? I mean, do we care if we're still talking? We don't usually talk. We usually kind of play a game, we close it, and then never talk about it again.
People.
Yeah, I'm curious how we feel about it in like a year or so, if it's changed. Because usually they'll sneak in the pay to win stuff after that.
Yeah. Well, and I don't last long, so I'm even curious where I'll be in 2 weeks from now. But
Sure. Yeah.
Anyway, we are Workforce Gaming. You can follow us on Twitter at Workforce Gaming. Subscribe to us wherever you're listening, and we will see you later.
Bye.